And good morning, Space Engineers. This is Mr. Kassarian, and welcome back. Well, in this case, welcome to a mod spotlight on CSD Battlecannons. Battlecannons. Alright, so this mod adds two new weapons. The first one is the 8.8 centimeter RAK-11. This is the gun that was actually used on the Tiger tank in World War II. Bit of a history lesson for you. It was originally an anti-aircraft gun until they discovered it does a really good job at killing tanks. Now, we have been lucky enough to have it added into Space Engineers. Nice! So let's take a look at this, shall we? It's pretty simple. Ammunition loading from the back. It is conveyor compatible, of course, which means that we should have a fairly easy time keeping it supplied. As you can see, it has been connected to our small conveyors over here, which will keep it happily fed with ammunition. Of course, I'm in, creative mode, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so let us grab our test wall, and let's take it out to the test range, or what's going to be the test range at any rate. This seems like as good a spot as any. All right, let's grab it one more time, and let's get it up here a little bit. So, this gun is pretty nice. I actually like it quite a bit. As you can see, I've been playing around with it a little bit, in fact. So let's pop in our fighter, and let's take a look at this. The thing I like the most is it gives fighters some punch, all right? Those of you guys who've played Space Engineers, you probably know that these little fighters, they have some issues, all right? So now the cool thing is you can see that we're at pretty decent range. So let's start by engaging this light armor block. That's our missiles, all right? Damage, not too incredible. We'll switch over here. I thought I saw light armor there. There was. There really isn't anymore. And that was at a pretty extreme range for you guys, all right? So let's try this again. Heavy armor block. Missiles. Did some decent damage. Cannon. And that also did some pretty decent damage. You guys can see it did a little bit more damage. The damage was a little bit more clustered, all right? So whereas with the missiles, if we switch back to these babies, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to be hammering at this for hours. This gun, punch through. Look at that. Nice and clean. All right, so let's say we're attacking a ship here, like the red ship. Come here, red ship. I want to copy you so I can kill you. So we're attacking the red ship, right? Let's move her over a little bit, get her out of clear of the fire, get the original red ship clear of the fire zone. And there we go. We now have a red ship. Awesome. Let's pop in our fighter and take a look at the damage we can actually do to this baby. Now, of course, the advantage of this is that it gives fighters some offensive capabilities. So let's start our attack run, shall we? We'll target that engine nacelle. Now, the issue's always been for me that I can't put enough damage on these ships with the standard weapons payloads to really do much, have much effect on them. And yes, I'm well aware that that thing's missile turret would have just killed me there. As you can see, I've been playing with the other part of CSD's Battlecannons, which you guys will see in a few minutes. Starting to come up and over again. We just wiped that turret out of existence. Now, the reload cycle's pretty intense on these things. But as you can see, we're doing a very nice amount of damage, actually. So let's take a look at what we did. Just a couple quick passes, and we'll look at some of the damage that we inflicted on this thing. Ooh, let's get in here. Come on. Let me through. As you can see, we actually did some pretty major damage. All right. We didn't quite cut it off, but we opened her up to space in a couple places here. And I wouldn't want to be sitting in any of those chairs when this attack was going on. All right, so we did some pretty serious damage to that area. Okay, okay, good. All right. So now let's look at the second part of this mod, which is the heavier weapon. Where am I? Here we go, reorienting myself. All right, so we have another blue ship out here that I copied. It was an accidental copy, but it's going to work quite well for this purpose. Because we also have the 25cm RAK-6. This is a great gun. Well, okay, it's great for me. It may not be too great for my opponent, but it's great for me. So what we're going to do here, as a matter of fact, let's flip you around. We're just going to assemble these in a nice broadside, okay? And then we're just going to pop in here, though I could have probably mounted them more effectively up here and recessed them, but you know what? That's me being picky about my ship design, which we don't need to be. All right, so we're going to run back here. As you can see, these also load from the breech, as would be expected. These are naval guns, primarily. So if you guys are wondering, that's why they are so bloody gigantic. All right, so let's go into here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come into here, and we're going to set these three off, okay? Where are these? They're bow loaded, okay. All right, so let's navigate this thing, shall we? I forget, this ship is only marginally faster than the red ship. And about the same amount of a pain in the rear end to turn her, too. So let's bring her into range. Now, judging by the effect that those other guns had, you guys probably don't need to see too much of how this thing performs. So we're going to sit out at a nice, comfortable, what is this, 800 kilometers maybe? And now I'm going to figure out how to aim this sucker. Because broadside mountings can be a little difficult in a three-dimensional plane. Now, I think we're almost on target here. We might have to get a little bit closer. Yeah, we're going to get a little bit closer now. Let's reset our view distance, bring the ship around. We're going to come in for a close broadside to broadside pass with this guy. Now, the nice thing about this is this does a fair amount of damage without causing too much difficulty. Hint for weapons control at these sorts of ranges, by the way, is that you can always, about 500 meters out, yeah, we can do that. So let's try and bring our gun batteries into range here. And the fiddly sticks as we try and figure out where our guns are actually pointing. Come on. Sometimes it helps if you zoom all the way in, get a look down the line of the ship. Oh, there we go. Don't be afraid to use your... There we are. All right. So let's take our first shot. We're targeting one of her nacelles right now. Let's see what damage we did to her. Yeah, don't be afraid to use the tracer fire from your guns to show you where you're actually aiming. That was actually very common for ships of this era to do. That was an engine, wasn't it? Yeah, it was one of my reverse engines. Let's put that back and pretend that didn't happen, shall we? That's me just putting that back. Alright, so let's see what sort of damage we did. We chopped a fair amount of damage into her, actually. That's a pretty decent-sized hole. It didn't penetrate all the way, however. But it did take out, that's almost a full layer, and it damaged the layer beneath it as well. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So let's hop back in and let's give her a full broadside. And we're at pretty decent range, too. I mean, this is pretty decent range for a ship. So let's pop back inside, not through one of the engines this time. I need to militarize the ship at some point. This seems like as good a place as any. Pop back in. There we go. Right by the cockpit. All right, cool. So let's give her a full broadside now. All the guns are active. We're going to target roughly where we shot before. Oh, listen to that sound, guys. Listen to that sound. You guys can see we're doing some pretty good damage to her, actually. Let's give her another shot on the bridge. Silly you for having your bridge so exposed up there, eh? Look at this. We're doing some pretty good damage to her right now, too. So now we're going to sweep down her bow. I think that was her command deck I just took out. Now let's see if we can get a shot clear down her cargo command bay. A little bit low that time. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. I forget these things are pigs to steer. Of course, we're going to lose our targeting sights inside the antenna markers. Let's give her one more good shot. Come on. Come on. Reload, reload, reload. Let's see what damage we did. All right. Let's check out how much damage these battle cannons actually do. Alright, so let's see what damage we did to our command deck, first of all. Alright, so her command console is actually still there, amazingly enough. She can still fly. Most of the glass is missing, and most of her bridge is gone, but okay. This entire side got shot away. Look at that, jeez. Though her cargo bay itself is pretty much intact. This entire nacelle is just toast, though. Look at this. My gosh. The entire nacelle's toast. She has gyros free in here. Engine's gone. Conveyor connectors are gone. I don't even know what happened, whether the block was there or not. Her center's pretty okay. Like, her center's okay. This nacelle, that was beat up by the fighter attack, I believe. Her hangar... Her hangar's intact. I wouldn't want to be in here when this attack came through. So let's see from the inside. Alright, so that's the attack that happened earlier. Okay, that's not bad. That's not too bad, all things considered. Well then, this side's, yeah, right, okay. That's been opened up to space. Of course, this being space engineers, it's relatively hard to full-on disable a warship, okay? Her hangar bay ain't looking too good. Upstairs is looking a bit beat up as well. So let's go upstairs and see how much damage we did up there. Alright, so our secondary command bridge back here is fine. Essentially fine, at any rate. This is okay. Let's come up here. We're still good up through here. The upper deck's actually pretty much okay. Oh, there's bad damage here. Okay. So this entire area is just open to space now. All right. Nice knowing this zone. And then, of course, we have the damage to the command bridge. So as you can see, these guns do a fair amount of damage. All right. We've, just a small amount of shelling, we've already seriously damaged this ship. I'd pretty much say she's fairly crippled. Maybe it'd be relatively combat ineffective at this point. I mean, all things considered, it's going to be a heck of a time for her to actually put herself back together again. So let's do this, all right? Just for fun. I don't know what block I removed there. Looks just like it was an armor block. All right. So let's put some more guns on the broadside. Oops. We have a full broadside of artillery now. Let's come back here and let's take control of the ship once again. Let's fire it right down her throat. I wouldn't like to be aboard this ship for this stuff. And that is a heck of a broadside battery. Let's target that engine nacelle. Let's target her forward bow. That's one nice thing, we have this many guns aboard too. Alright, so that was what, 3, maybe 4 broadsides? Let's see what we did. I also really love the reloading sounds. So I think that did a lot more damage. Alright, let's see what we did to her. Look at that. Completely wiped out one side. That's gone. This is essentially toast now. She still has gyro control. One of her reactors is still in place. She's pretty much unnavigable on foot, I think. I think this nacelle is completely... Yeah, that's toast. Look at that. That is completely gone. I'm pretty certain a lot of this stuff probably isn't even really connected anymore. So I think she's pretty much crippled at this point. Alright, let's just check control here. We have 2 gyroscopes, forward motion. We still have forward motion. We have up motion. We can do side to side. Can we do... Yeah, we could do up and down. Backwards. Backwards. We have some backwards control. Wow. We can still fight, though. We can still fight. Alright, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little spotlight of the Battlecannons mod. This has been Mr. Kassarian. I want to thank you guys for watching. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next mod spotlight. Go check this out. The link is in the video description. And hopefully, I'm going to ask the mod author if he wants to use this video as well. So thank you, guys. Again, this has been Mr. Kassarian. Have fun blowing stuff up, guys.